right? I'll suspend my disbelief for this. But then the fucking droid shoots out into space with a jetpack and a space helmet on. Why does the droid need that but not the human?
What
do you think about this one?
I'm very curious to see what you think, because I think that our opinions are very different. This one, in my opinion, first of all, let's give some context. Episode 1, mid, right? Episode 2, garbage. Some of the worst shit I ever had to sit through. This one is also garbage, but in such a way that made me love it. I absolutely adore this episode in many ways. It's definitely my favorite one so far. I'll get into it a little more, but what did you think?
So if I had to compare it to the first two, I've liked the first one the best. I thought the first one was pretty good. I thought it was better than you did. I thought the second one was utter garbage. I think everyone can agree on that. And this one I think was in between. There's some things I liked about it and some things I really didn't. So it's pretty mid for me.
So yeah, let's start with the things that are good, because I think the art is I think this is the best animation the show has had to offer yet. And episode 2 had some pretty good animation. It was just wasted. But this had some really, really good stuff. And the art style was really impressive too, because you could tell how hard it was to animate stuff. I noticed a lot of different scenes where, for instance, when he gets into his cruiser, when he's escaping the double Death Star mega ship thing, whatever, it's the dumbest thing ever. They combine two ships and put a giant cannon in between. What do you want? But when he gets into his ship, they just kind of skip that part because they're just we're not going to animate that. We don't need to do that.
Yeah, I agree. I think the animation was the best so far. The thing that I don't know, that's the good thing I have to say, is the animation was really good. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed how the fight looked. There's some cool shots. Definitely the going light speed and cutting the ship in half. I thought that was really cool. But I will say my negatives on this one is I was just
you only had one.
Well, I don't know. I just was not. I didn't get into the whole concept. I guess I like the sibling fight. I was like, okay, I'll buy into this. But I was like, this pissed me off so much. I'm just gonna touch on this briefly. This literally is instantly -2 on my score of this episode.
What was it? The precise cleavage strike?
No, it was not. It was the fact that these two were just fighting on this ship, right? With no sort of space gear on or anything.
No.
Right. Okay. That being said, this is the. I was like, okay, you know what? That's fine, right? I'll suspend my disbelief for this. But then the fucking droid shoots out into space with a jetpack and a space helmet on. Why does the droid need that but not the human?
You know what? That's a really terrible question. I'll tell you why. Let me first of all ignore that question. Here's a few more points. The voice acting, I don't know, did you watch the English or the Japanese?
The English.
Me too. Embarrassing. Some really bad. Yeah. but I feel like it was directed that way. I feel like those people are talented and they could have given better performances, but the writing was so schlocky and it was so over the top, and it was just so the complaints I had about episode 1 where I'm like, oh, they're giving kind of hokey expositional dialogue, kind of where it doesn't fit.
It was like that on steroids.
It was like that on steroids, but it's it reaches that level for me where it gets so bad it's funny. I just love, my favorite moment in the whole series so far is when he's talking to his droid in the beginning and he's like, don't worry, they won't catch us. Then he opens the door and they're all there and he's like, all right, you were right. And then he just walks through. I don't know. It had a really fun energy, this episode did.
So I don't know. I get what you're saying, but personally for me, the bad dialogue and all of those kind of memed parts, they just didn't hit for me, and I didn't think they're that funny. It took points off for me, I'm not gonna lie, but I really did enjoy the animation. I'm gonna give this episode, I'm gonna do the reverse of you. I'm gonna give this a 6.3.
A 6.3. That's higher than I thought.
6.3 on the Jacob scale. Like I said, there was
not the Jacob scale.
There was a lot that I liked about this episode. It looked really cool. I actually enjoyed some of the fight. I really enjoyed some of the fight animation. but just some of the dialogue and just little things just annoyed me so much that I had to take points off. If they didn't have that, I probably would have outscored the first one. The animation was better.
There were just so many moments where nothing needed to be said, but instead they said just the hokiest, worst, it's like over the top, like, you know,
that just didn't hit for me. That didn't hit for me.
All of that stuff, I was like, at first I was like, oh man, they're kind of ruining it. But then I remembered it's Trigger. That's what Trigger does. That's what they've always done. They made like Kill la Kill and Gurren Lagann. They've just done the most over the top wild shit with crazy action. And I'm not a big fan of the studio, but in a 15-minute short, I'm kind of here for it. It was kind of lit. I'm gonna give it like a 7.35.
A very solid score coming from Cole. Actually, he's a harsh critic.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Well, I think that wraps up episode 3 of the Review Hour, reviewing Star Wars Visions. Thanks for tuning in. Remember to subscribe to the channel if you enjoy this type of content, and let us know what episode or what you want us to review in the future.
They go by so fast, Jacob. I feel like we just started.
Peace.
Onion.